Welcome back to my channel. This is day 11, I think. I always have to check the date because sometimes I forget. It is day 11 of Self-Helpmas, my transformative 24-day series designed to help you become a more confident and more empowered version of yourself before 2025. If you missed yesterday's video, we dove into how to create your own personalized dopamine menu, your own arsenal of feel-good things and activities that can bring you out of a rut, especially before going into the new year. So be sure to check that video out after this one. But today we are talking about the 10 truths that you need to hear before we enter 2025. So let's get into it. Truth number one, and guys, these truths are as much needed for me as they probably are for you. The first one is that growth is not linear. And sometimes I think whenever it comes to achieving or setting a goal, we always think that growth is going to look like this. We put in this input, we are going to see X return. And the more inputs we put in, we expect to see more. And the inputs being effort, consistency, showing up every single day, all of that good stuff. But for speaking from personal experience and something that I've really had to learn over the last couple months, growth is more like an exponential curve than it is a straight line. Progress often takes time, more time than we think, and that is so okay. When I started this channel a couple months ago, I really thought it was gonna, results were gonna happen way faster than they have. And I started to get really down on myself about it and really in my head about everything that I wanted to achieve and whatever. But my point is that sometimes growth takes longer than we think. Sometimes the timelines that we've set in our head are not realistic. We have to kind of resort back to what we're doing every single day and really hone in on that consistency. And I think it can be really hard when you are showing up in any area of your life and you do not see results or results that you want. But what I've learned is that those little unseen moments, those days and weeks and months of consistency and hard work, when it feels like literally nothing is happening, is building the foundation for a breakthrough. In whatever endeavor you're going after or trying to achieve, whether it's work, the gym, maybe a hobby, or some other goal you set for yourself, do not give up just because you haven't seen progress yet. I hate to say trust the process because this is what my old soccer coach used to say, but okay. Take it with a grain of salt, trust the process, stay consistent, be your own biggest cheerleader, and remind yourself that every step that you're taking matters and it is going to pay dividends. I don't know when, you don't know when, but it will happen for you, I promise. Truth number two, there is no such thing as an overnight success. I feel like that is a term that has been thrown around on social media for the last year, 6 months, I don't know, maybe longer, but overnight successes, I feel like, can shut down so many people's goals and dreams and progress because of something, and it kind of goes back to the growth and thinking that things are going to happen right away and thinking that things have happened for people like this, when in reality, everyone that you see that is an overnight success, and I'm going to take Alex Earl for instance, when you really look into the people that are quote unquote overnight successes, they didn't just blow up overnight. Well, Alex Earl, she had been posting for years, 2 years, 3 years before, pretty consistently, and it wasn't until her senior year of college that things started working out for her. And this just goes to show, like, everything worth achieving is worth fighting for. It's worth putting in the hours and being consistent. So whatever goal you have for yourself, and again, maybe you're not seeing results, maybe there are other people that have achieved this overnight success that you haven't, keep showing up for yourself, set small achievable goals, and celebrate every single amount of progress that you have along the way. You are building something amazing, and who knows, maybe you will have that overnight success moment, maybe you won't, but even if you don't, growth is growth whether you see it or not. And if you keep showing up for yourself, it is going to pay dividends again, I promise. Truth number three, entering the new year with the same mindset is going to give you the same results. And this is something that I feel like I have done for, all of last year. Entered the new year with the same mindset and just thought if I wrote something down on paper, it was going to happen for me. It doesn't really work that way. If you want to change your reality, you first have to change your beliefs. You first have to change the image that you're putting out into the world if you want your reality to change, because reality is basically a mirror image of who you are and how you're showing up. And if you can change your beliefs what you expect, how you show up, your energy. The universe is going to reward you, and your reality is going to change to match your energy and your beliefs. And again, this year I sort of realized I was holding on to a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of things in the past that were really holding me back. And in order to get to where I wanted to go, result wise, mental health wise, I had to let some of that go. And when I shifted my mindset a little bit more to show up as a more happier, intentional, enthusiastic version of myself, my reality became happier and more enthusiastic. And that wasn't magic. That was just a simple mindset shift that, yes, did take a lot of work, but did have a lot of payoff. So before you enter the new year, I want you to just take out a piece of paper, write down a limiting belief, something that's holding you back. And then I want you to start reframing it to something that is more empowering. Start 2025 with a belief system that supports your goals, not one that is going to hold you back. Truth number 4, self-doubt is a sign that you care. I used to say that nervousness and having nerves, especially when I was playing soccer, was just a sign that you care. And going to extend that to self-doubt as well, because I was thinking about this analogy earlier. And say you wanted to learn how to surf, for instance, and you don't really care about the end result. You don't care if you fall over. You don't really care if you make a fool out of yourself. You don't care about learning how to surf. Like, you literally do not care what happens. There is no ounce of self-doubt at all. You're probably not experiencing any self-doubt with whatever you're doing that you don't really care about. But when it is something that you care about, and say you're getting up on that surfboard and you really want to learn and you really want to prove to yourself that you can do it, you are going to have a little bit of self-doubt. You're going to have some nerves. That is normal. And all that means is that you care. And when you can start to reframe your self-doubt and nerves, and maybe there's a little bit of fear, that is just going to show you that you have passion about something. And passion and caring about something is beautiful. So when you can lean into that self-doubt a little bit more and you can acknowledge it for what it is and start to reframe it as just a sign that you're passionate and you care, it is going to remind you that each time you show up, you are building that confidence muscle, which is ultimately going to contradict self-doubt in the long run. Truth number 5, stop comparing yourself to other people. We've all heard it. Comparison is the thief of joy, and that is literally so true. It is so true. Your timeline is yours. It is your own. Own it. The only person that you should be competing with, I should be competing with, is yesterday's version of ourselves. And that sort of goes into the whole theme of self-helpmas, which is just getting 1% better every single day, becoming a better version of you than the one that showed up yesterday. And if you can do that, and you can be so honed in on your goals, your dreams, what you want to accomplish, and simple things that you can do every single day versus what is so-and-so doing or how did it work out for this person. I have definitely struggled with this too. And especially in the social media world, where literally you can open an app and you can see someone probably doing something similar to you and see how fast they've achieved it, or all of this growth, or the overnight success we mentioned earlier. It can be so easy to start comparing ourselves to other people and be like, well, so-and-so achieved this in X amount of time. She had this result. Why am I not there yet? Social media is a place where everyone's success feels so visible, but you have to trust that your path, your journey is unfolding in its own time. And comparing doesn't speed up your process either. It literally just inhibits your joy. So focus on where you're at, because that's literally all that matters. It doesn't matter about somebody down the street or the guy next to you. Literally just focus on where you're at. And whenever you do catch yourself comparing, I want you to pause, take a little pause, and list 3 things that you're proud of. It could be mentally, it could be written down. List 3 things that you're proud of about your journey so far. And again, I think it's so much more helpful to, instead of focus on someone else, focus on your actions for the day. Focus on showing up in the way that you can every single day, and things will work out on your own timeline like they're meant to. Truth number 6, your past does not define you. It is a lesson. Your past is a lesson. It is not a life sentence. I'm sure we all feel shame. I'm sure we all feel regret about something that has happened in our lives. Maybe something we've said, maybe something we've done. Holding on to shame and holding on to regret is holding you back. I was so excited to leave my job, and I knew that my life was going to be better off for it. However, I was feeling a little shameful about it. I was like, okay, this looks like I failed. This looks like I'm going backward. I'm taking steps backward in terms of the money that I'm making and my career journey and my career path and blah, 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 blah. And I was getting really in my head about it. But that situation was not a failure. That was a lesson I needed to learn and something that was going to help me pivot towards something else I loved. So whatever that might be in your past, something that you've experienced, maybe it was a relationship, maybe it was a job, maybe it was something entirely different. I want you to think about something that you're holding on to, something that you feel a little bit regretful about or shameful about, and just let it go. Give yourself some grace, let it go, reflect on the lesson that it taught you, and then learn how to use it to propel you forward, not to hold you back. Truth number 7, we live on a floating rock. And I talked about this in one of my other videos in this series, but sometimes when everything feels like a massive weight on our shoulders, when we feel like society and people in our lives are judging us for just showing up as who we are, I want you to take a step back and remember, we live on a floating rock. And I love this perspective because anytime in my life where I've questioned something, I've been a little bit doubtful, I was so preoccupied and worried about what other people were thinking about me. It is just such a great perspective shift to remind ourselves we live on a floating rock in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the universe. Like, there are so many other things happening, and whether it's posting on social media or maybe you're a songwriter, literally, I don't know, where you just want to wear these like really cool new boots to the bar. No one else is thinking about you in the way that you are. Like, most of the times, life is so unserious. So remind yourself we live on a floating rock and nothing really is that deep. Nothing really is that serious. Truth number 8, one of my other favorites, you are allowed to start over. You're allowed to shut the page, shut the book on where you're at right now and open up a new chapter and start something new. Regardless where you're at in your life, regardless of how old you are, what your current situation is, you are allowed to start over. That is literally what life is all about. That's what growth is all about. Growth means embracing new versions of yourself and letting go of what no longer serves you, because guys, you outgrow a crib when you're a toddler, right? Like, you got too big for it, you can't sleep in it anymore, you move to a bed, you move to an environment that suits you and serves you. I don't know why I just used the analogy of a crib, but anywhere that you're headed in your life, there are going to be moments, there are going to be times where you feel like you need to make another decision. You need to, maybe it's moving and you need to move to a new city. Maybe it is quitting a job or moving on from a relationship. Holding yourself back because of a past version of yourself, other people's expectations for you, is like putting your life on hold. We are meant to embrace change. We are meant to follow our visions for our future selves versus visions that we had in the past. And I had this conversation with one of my friends yesterday because she was sort of talking about next steps that she was going to take in her life. And there has been a dream of hers she's always wanted to do since she was literally 12 years old. She wanted to do this 6 months ago, a year ago, and now she's just at a place in her life where she doesn't even know if this resonates with her anymore. She doesn't even know if this is a dream of hers anymore. She doesn't even know if this is where she wants to go, and she's holding on to it because of what other people in her life are saying, the past version of herself. And I also think it's so okay to realize you don't want something anymore. And it's also okay to realize you don't want something that you worked so hard for after you've gotten it. So going into the new year, I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you really want in 2025? Do you want to move? Do you want to move cities? Do you want to move jobs? Do you want to be in a different relationship? Whatever the answer is, that is okay. Truth number 9, consistency will get you further than motivation ever will. Motivation is a finite resource. It comes and goes. Consistency will build results, and consistency is obviously something that stays. Personally, I don't really feel motivated ever to go to the gym, but I go, and if I relied on motivation, I probably wouldn't even have my gym membership. There are no days where I wake up and I'm like, I am so excited to go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, in order to build something that lasts, you have to rely on consistency and build that muscle versus relying on motivation. And I feel like this is very timely to the new year, because a lot of people will go into the new year, they set all these new Year's resolutions, and they just expect to have all this motivation to show up. And people just rely on motivation to achieve their goals. And if you do that, you are setting yourself up for failure. And the only way to build motivation is to be consistent. You only get motivation from seeing results and showing up. And sometimes you have to show up in the days that you don't want to get that motivation and to see those results to begin with. And remind yourself that no matter what you're doing, the small wins are adding up. And getting yourself to go to the gym is a small win, and those small wins add up. Number 10, truth number 10. You might not appreciate this one, but I'm going to be real with you. Life is better with a book. When I have a book to read, everything is just so much better. You really don't have to change much about your own life to get a different perspective, to be immersed in a new reality, to get out of your own head. All you got to do is pick up a book. And books are the ultimate life hack for growth. They're the ultimate life hack for inspiration and for escape. And for all of my non-readers out there, or maybe you've been stuck in a little bit of a reading rut, I have a video totally dedicated onto books that you can read to get you out of a rut. So make sure you go watch that video as well if you need a good book, especially going into the new year. This year, I really relied on books to get me out of my head, to change the way that I think, and to make a leap into a whole other life than I was living 6 months ago. But I feel like reading just helped me reshape my mindset so much and give me the confidence to make decisions based on my own life. Plus, curling up with a book beats scrolling on social media any day. I guarantee you will feel so much better if you pick up a book instead of scrolling on TikTok. So before the new year, before January, I want you to find one book that inspires you, whether it is a personal development book, a self-help book, a fiction book, maybe it's a memoir, it could be nonfiction, literally any sort of book, Commit to finishing it before January and see how having a book, just see how it changes your perspective. And if you have a hard time reading, I honestly think that it's because you haven't found the right fit, the right genre for you. So give it a shot. See what you like, see what you don't like. But that is one way to just completely level up your routine. Okay, I know I said I only had 10 truths, but I have a bonus truth, which is becoming a better you is hot. I think I'm going to make that my little tagline. Becoming a better you is hot. Confidence, growth, and self-care are the 3 things that will lead you to having an ultimate glow up. And I feel like everyone is talking about, winter arc, glowing up, leveling up. You don't have to change anything about you, anything physical about you to become a more confident or better, hotter version of yourself. You don't need to change your hair color. You don't need to lose weight. You don't need to do any of that. All you got to do is start building your confidence muscle. I literally feel like if you start gaining confidence and start accepting yourself for who you are going to level up in ways that changing your hair color never could. But if you want to change your hair color, that's okay too. So I want you to take one step this week to prioritize your growth. Maybe that's picking up a book, maybe it's not. Whether it is starting therapy, trying a new workout, journaling, whatever it might be, your future self is going to thank you. And honestly, you are going to feel unstoppable. So focus on becoming a better you, focus on building your confidence, focus on growing, focus on self-love, all the good things. And this is what the series is designed to help you do. That is all I really have for you today. These truths are just here to remind you that 2025 can be the year that you start letting go of things that don't serve you and start showing up as a more authentic version of yourself. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what your favorite truth was in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay up to date for the rest of self-helpmas. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time with me. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.